You tired, Scout? Tired, little buddy? I don't know how long we'll be able to stay on here for because Luna's here with us and I don't want her bothering him at all. She scares him, so. But right now she's laying down on the floor, so it's okay. V-Man, I would show you them, but you're not sponsored chatting, so no. No, Luna, you have to come up here if you want to hang out. You can't be near him, because you're not nice. Lay down, okay? Good girl. What's up, Lurch? You keep your face over there. We don't want your face over here. I know you want to get close and say hi to him, but he doesn't like you. And then we'll have to end the stream if you start being a butthead. She's trying to be sneaky. You stay over there. I know what you're trying to do. Back up. And you're trying to bug him because he's getting all the attention and you're not. Here, you want some attention? Stay back there. You get the hand to the face. She's always so interested. I know you want to say hi to him, but you can't. You stay right there. He gets the attention for now. Hey, Mystic Unicorn, I'm going through that too, so I understand it completely. And I appreciate you being here, because it's fun for everyone. Me too. Yeah, Luna's jealous. She keeps sticking her face in the camera. She wants to get in on the picture, but she's not allowed. And Luna's actually being really good considering, because normally when she first saw him, she wanted to go right after him and eat him. But I've been slowly introducing her to him for months now. I bring him around her all the time, any chance I get. So now she's getting used to being around him. And I can sit like this with her right next to me, and she's not jumping in my face trying to grab him out of my hand or anything. It's kind of like if I had a mouse in this hand, he would be trying to get the mouse out of my hand. So it's kind of the same thing. She sees him as food, and he sees her as a big predator, and he doesn't like her very much. That's why he's just chilling with me here, because he doesn't want her to bother him. You good, buddy? Hang on, buddy. I gotta get up for a second. Oh, no. Okay. Bring that down. Lay down right there so I can go. Right here. Good girl. I was gonna go get the nail clippers because a bunch of people were telling me that they wanted to know how to cut their nails, but I couldn't find them, so I'll have to do it another time. Thank you, Hybrid. I appreciate that. It means a lot. Oh, the remote that you guys probably saw was this one. This is the remote for the Roku. It's actually like a gaming controller too. It has the A-B button there, and you can play video games on it. I wanted to show you guys, there was an old video, or a few old videos I have, of his old enclosure that used to have the hammock in it, and it was kind of like a wired cage. I don't know if you remember it, but when he was a baby, he was trying to attack the vacuum, so we locked him up in his enclosure, and he started running up and down the side of the cage, and he ended up actually breaking his toe. I don't know if you can see it here. You see how it sticks up more from these other ones? So the vet actually uh, bandaged it all up, and he kept biting the bandage off, so he didn't want to keep it on, and it ended up healing up like that. But he's okay, he can still walk fine on it and everything. But the reason why I mention it is just because if you guys have any animals in enclosures like that, just be careful if they start climbing it really fast and running around, because it can, unfortunately, they can get stuck on it and hurt themselves. But that was many, many years ago, so he's okay. Hey, Scout. Good. He's usually more comfortable when the covers are on him. Let's see if we can do this. You gonna be alright? Similar thing happened to Spooky too. Um, you know how sometimes when canines get the zoomies and they start running back and forth, he uh, he was running in and out of his enclosure and his foot got caught in the bottom of the cage where the tray goes in. There's like a little opening that you can put a tray in so that you can slide it out to clean it, and it basically ended up getting his foot stuck in there and he flipped over. And since he flipped over, he couldn't flip back around and get himself unstuck. And when I went to go grab him to release him, he actually bit through my wrist. And I passed out from the pain. But he ended up being okay. He didn't break anything. He was fine. He was just limping for like a couple days because he hurt himself. So those cages are always like scary when the animals are running in and out of it. Even just playing, it freaks me out because I know what can happen. So I try not to use those anymore if I don't have to. Yeah, Spooky was cool because he kind of looked like a Pomeranian, but like some kind of weird, wild Pomeranian. A really messed up story with him. Uh, when I was living in Boca, I I used to walk him on a harness, and it was just in my neighborhood. It was like a private neighborhood, so there wasn't like a lot of cars zooming by or anything. And I saw a woman who asked me to bring the fox, which was Spooky, over to her house because she wanted to show her kids. So we walked over there with the harness, and the husband ended up telling me to get out of the house and threatened to go get his gun and said that he's a hunter and he hunts foxes and that he was going to kill him. And I was like, well, first of all, this isn't a wild animal that was just like running around, because he started claiming that the fox had rabies and that his kids were going to get rabies. And I was like, look, first of all, rabies isn't even really an issue like that. And this isn't like a wild fox that just came out of the Arctic. You know, he was adopted from a captive born litter, so he was fine. He had all his shots, and then he just kept threatening to shoot him. And I said, dude, your wife is the one who invited me in here to show you Spooky, so why are you getting so angry about it? Luna, what are you doing? She's starting to pull the covers off the bed. That's not very nice. Yeah, some people are just uneducated, and it kind of sucks because, you know, I used to really enjoy bringing him everywhere before he had the seizures, and I would even bring him to like a friend's warehouse where he would throw parties and stuff, and we would let Spooky run around, and everybody would be like tipsy, drinking and playing with him, and he was so happy because he got to be around a bunch of people. So everybody thought I was crazy because I was like coming in with a fox in there, but it's just so weird because, you know, some people, just because they hunt, they think that those animals should be killed no matter what. And I think that's messed up. Yeah, V-Man, you're saying that you bet it's super sad when I had to put Spooky down. It was definitely one of the saddest moments in my entire life. I mean, it was a bad situation because he started attacking himself and I wasn't home, and he got his tail pretty bad, and every time he would feel the pain on his tail, he would attack it more because he thought there was something on there. So I brought him to the vet at Banyan, which is, I don't know if that's like the Petco hot, pet hospital. and they refused to put him down because they were going to charge me like double the money because he was an exotic animal and not a dog, and I didn't have all of the money on me. And at the time I was driving my lowered Acura Integra with a huge exhaust. It was like super loud, and this guy made me put Spooky back inside of a box to like take him home because he wasn't going to help me put him out, when he was suffering. So I ended up taking him home, and I was like crying my eyes out. And one of my neighbors, he knew a vet that was nearby, and he called him, even though it was like 10, 11 o'clock at night. And the vet came over to my house and actually brought the medication there and did it while I held him in my arms. So at least I got to hold him, and he was like comfortable in the house, and it wasn't in some shitty Banyan hospital, you know what I mean? Oh, Pat Morgan, you're asking me how old Scout is? Um, well, that mystery's finally solved because there was a big issue where in a few videos ago I ended up uh, realizing that the metadata on the video said that he was 10 years old because the video was from a year before I thought he was born. But I finally dug up his paperwork. He's actually 9 years old. He turned 9 February 14th. Which I was worried because if he was 10, that's one less year that I get to be with him. So I'm glad he's actually 9, and hopefully he gets to spend a lot more years with me. Luna's here. I think she just went to go get some water or something. Yep, I hear her drinking. Luna, you want to come up here? Come up here and hang out. Come. She's refusing. I think one of the kitties are out there, so she wants to go bother them instead. Come up here. You want to lay down? You're going to freak him out. You came up too fast. Lay down. Come. Lay down. He's just staring around. Up to no good. Yeah, furry girl, the thing is that um, I didn't realize when I actually started uploading the videos with Scout in them because at the time, I mean, think about it, it was 2008. Cameras weren't all that great then, and I had my Canon 60D at the time, but it was like I couldn't even really upload the full resolution to YouTube because I don't think my account even allowed me at the time to upload anything past a certain amount of minutes or megabytes. So my channel was just like random videos I would post that I had on my computer. And at the time, I thought, okay, 2008, I posted these videos of Scout, but then I found a video that had metadata on it from 2007. So I thought maybe I shot the video in 2007, but didn't start posting them till a year later. And I didn't really remember what happened. I was going through a lot of stuff at that time as well. I just found my PSP today, Fennec Tech. I was actually cleaning out some stuff and I ended up finding it. That thing hasn't been turned on in years. Anna, there's actually like 3 blankets here. Hold on, because I gotta see what I'm doing. Okay, yeah, so there's one here, and then there's this one with there's like moons and suns and stars on it, and then there's this red one. And usually when Mel's here, there's like 20 other blankets on the bed. I can't take it because it gets too hot for me, but she seems to like it. Yeah, I actually like these metal bars you see here is this new bed I got while she was out of town. And it's kind of funny because for a while, since we went into a new house, the bed that we were on was just a mattress on the floor for like 2 years. And it's uncomfortable, but we just dealt with what we had at the time. And I ended up finally going out and buying a bed. But the cool thing is now that I did that, all the animals are totally cool with like chilling with us. Well, with me on the bed. They Mel hasn't been in the bed yet, so they haven't really gotten a chance to hang out with her. But um, like Riddick never really came in the bedroom because Luna would always kick him out, and now he actually likes hanging out in here because the bed, I guess, gives him an extra place to go hide underneath if she starts bugging him. But for the most part, they all just try to come up on the bed and lay together, which is kind of funny. I'm actually really hot, Mr. Cheese, with these blankets, but I know Scout's okay with the heat, so I'm just kind of dealing with it. But it is pretty warm. I kind of have my feet sticking out though, so it's not that bad. Luna, what are you doing? I hear you over there. You gonna come back up here? No? She's just like running in and out of the room. I don't know who she's messing with. Coda, go for it. Tell me something funny but gross about your dog. You're squeaking. I hear you. What? What's wrong? You want to go? Yeah. I think it's time to go. I don't know. You can't mess with him because he's squeaking. You stay away. Come up here. Come. You right now? Yeah. You want to move up? Come up here. What are you doing? Don't poop on me. That won't be nice. Come here. Lay down, okay? Lay down. You want to be on camera? Here. Lay down. Lay down. 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 Go. Down. She's like, I want to get closer, but I'm holding her back because I don't want her bothering him and scaring him. Come on. Here you go. Here. You can be on camera too. Here, you want to put something on? What do you want to watch? White Fang? No. No. What do you want to watch? Anything? What about PewDiePie? You want to watch PewDiePie? No? Alright. What do you want to watch? Nothing? You put it on. No? You want me to put it on? You put it on. Oh, well, fine then. Sheesh. So rude. Yeah, Sam Asia, I guess I'll never find out, right? What's going on? You okay? You want me to hold your hand? That make you feel better? You're fine. I was referring to the headboard. I wonder how close um, these two are. I was like, which arm is it on? I didn't even remember. Scout, can you turn around for the camera? That's Freddy Krueger, Scout. Kim, is that Kim from Miami, Kim? If so, hello. I have not seen you in quite forever. And underneath Scout's tattoo, there's one of the gremlins. And then I also have an actual Freddy tattoo that's on my arm, but I don't know if I can show you that right now with the way I'm holding him. I don't want him to get freaked out. But that's Scouty Kruger. Oh, okay, you're the other Kim. I remember now. I don't have a tattoo of Luna yet, Britt, but I do plan on getting one eventually. I just want to make sure that we do it right. Maybe I'll have the same artist who did all my other tattoos do it, but he's uh, not in the same place that I am right now, so when I get back over there, he can do it for me. B-Man, I haven't really had time for video games, unfortunately, but I really want um, to get into a couple of the ones that have been out recently that I've been seeing, like PewDiePie play, and I don't know, some of them are pretty good. And Anna, you're asking me what my first tattoo was? Let me see if I can show you. It's up here. They're bats, and it was, I used to take care of bats at the shop I used to work at, and I kind of got obsessed with bats ever since then. They were the Egyptian fruit bats, those giant ones. So I ended up getting the tattoo like after I stopped working with them. And then that tattoo actually was responsible for some really cool stuff happening for me. Um, I was on stage in Miami playing a show one night, and okay, I'm trying to remember exactly what happened because this was like 14 years ago. I was in a club in Miami, and I went to go say hi to the DJ, which was a friend of mine, and when I went up to the DJ booth, security grabbed me, and the DJ was trying to tell him that I was a friend of his, but he threw me down the stairs. And I was supposed to be performing that night, and I got really pissed that I got thrown down the stairs, so I ran up to the stage, which was actually just a bunch of tables that they had us playing on. They were like rickety, wobbly tables at some like crappy little Miami club. I think it was called Club Liquid, if I remember correctly. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry. But so I ran up to the stage and I took my bass guitar and I threw it across the club into the bar and like smashed a bunch of stuff. So ever since then, my bass guitar was never really working properly anymore. Had a big crack down the side too. And I played another show that was in, I believe, Tampa years later with that same guitar, and I had it like cutting out in between songs, and I was getting really mad, so I just smashed it completely. Sorry, am I talking too loud? So I ended up just smashing the guitar on stage, and when I did that, Luna, I'm telling a story. You gotta come down here. Lay down. I know. She's okay. She's laying down. She's not gonna bother you. Don't worry. You're okay. He's getting annoyed by her, so let me go put him back. I'll go put you back in your room, okay? And you'll be alright. I'll be right back. Give me a moment. Come on. Come. Over here. Come. You can lay down next to me. Come on. Come on. Come here. Come. Come sit with me. Come here. Luna. Don't be a butthead. Come on. She's giving me her paw, but I want her to come lay with me. You gonna come lay with me? Come on. Okay, bye. Sorry about that. I didn't want him to get stressed out or anything. So, if you guys want, I'll finish the story and I'll either hang out or I'll go after the story. I don't know. If you guys want me to hang out, I'll hang out for a little bit. But basically, let me go back to where I was on that. So we played a show in Tampa, and I believe in Tampa, yeah, it was, I don't remember the venue, but maybe Masquerade or something like that. And I was having problems with that bass. It was still going out and not really working properly, so I got really pissed and I started smashing it on the stage. And one of the people who were there watching was Evil D from Morbid Angel, and he also worked for Dean Guitars at the time. So he told me if I came by to the Dean Guitars building that they would hook me up with with the guitar for having the troubles that I was having. They liked the way that I was playing and that I was crazy enough to smash it like in between the set. So I ended up finishing the set with a friend's guitar who let me borrow it from another one of the bands that were playing. And so Dean, trust me, I'm going to come all the way back around on this story. So Dean Guitars ended up taking me to the NAMM convention in California, which is like National Association of Music Merchants. It's a big convention where anybody who makes music equipment ends up showing off all their new stuff for the year, and companies will come in and buy like mass quantities of new gear. So like new keyboards, new guitars, new everything, anything you can think of. And then there's all this like off the wall stuff, software, everything there. So it's just like multiple floors of, like, picture a Guitar Center, but 10 times bigger. And like every artist, and there's like actors there, there's like a bunch of people hanging out. A lot of really cool networking. Are you gonna come hang out now, Luna? So while I was walking around at the convention, I stopped by the BC Rich booth, and I was kind of unhappy with my deal with Dean at the time because they said that I got like a B artist endorsement and I got a really cool guitar with them, even though I still had to put money down on it. I didn't mind paying for my stuff, so I never like expected to get anything for free. But then I they weren't really promoting me at all. They were just making me pay like a discounted price for the guitars. So that was really cool of them because I would have never had such a good guitar to play live with if it wasn't for them starting out with me hooking up like that. And at the NAMM convention, when I went to the BC Ridge booth, I was walking around with a cut-off shirt, and this tattoo was showing. And the woman there that was at the booth grabbed me, and she was like, "Oh, I gotta show my husband this tattoo. It's really cool. He's gonna love it." So we ran over and I started talking to this guy who ended up being, his name's Rock, and he was a rep over at BC Rich for the guitars, and I didn't even know this at the time. But he was telling me that, bats are good luck, and they both believe, in bats being good luck. And long story short, or I guess I should say, they ended up telling me that if I wanted to work with them, that they would be willing to do a artist deal with me, which was really cool. So I ended up being with BC Rich for many years after that, all because of this bat tattoo that I guess got them to feel that I was good luck, and and they ended up taking a chance and working with me. And it was cool because we got to do a lot of really big things because of that as well. Like they ended up putting us in a bunch of magazines like um, Metal Edge, and uh, I think I don't remember all the rock magazines anymore. It's been so long. And V-Man, it wasn't the Rock, it was Rock. Just Rock. And I know you love my Hardcore Mayhem videos, but unfortunately I can't really post them on here, and I've been like really fighting with myself on wanting to edit them and post them, but there's so many things on there that I can't really post on YouTube because first of all they'll demonetize me in a heartbeat, and second of all I'm gonna get a lot of people in trouble. We have videos like back in the day of so many crazy things that the whole idea of the project started out with. It was a friend of mine and the chick Laura that had red hair in my videos. We decided we were going to do something that was kind of like a Jackass but with more chicks involved, and she wanted to kind of do a Suicide Girl type thing at the time because that was like when that was like all cool and hip and trendy. So we were trying to do like a kind of a smash between all of it, and we went out and shot a bunch of videos for a DVD, and we were going to release it on the web as well, but I started running into a lot of hiccups with like licensing and um, just all sorts of shit like that, and it just caused a lot of problems. You're asking if we ever played with Nero Bellum? Yes, actually I have a video on my channel that I'm pretty sure is live. I don't know if I kept it up or if I made it private, but we played with him in New York with Cyclone 9 at the Triton Festival. I believe that was either 2000, I think it was 2013. If you look up my Triton videos, you'll probably find the one with Nero in it. I have like a whole playlist with just band stuff if you want to see like a bunch of music stuff. For those that are wondering and asking like with the band what's going on with that, well, we had a deal with a label that we're not with anymore, so we just re-released our CD that was with that label, because once we weren't with them anymore, that CD was no longer available to any of you guys. So we went ahead and re-released it, but we added on like 3 extra remixes on there. So it's kind of like a deluxe edition, and that's what I was streaming on my videos that were, most of them are all private because I don't want to just put all the songs out there for everybody to just listen to whenever. I mean, you can do that on Spotify, but at least the band makes something from that. So at the end of the day, if we can end up making a good amount from that CD or t-shirt sales or anything in the process during this release, then maybe we'll have the ability to tour as well. But we'll see what happens. I mean, we all still want to do music, but it's really hard these days because people don't buy music anymore, so you have to rely on selling t-shirts, but you can only really sell t-shirts well on tour as well as CDs. But in order to go on tour, you have to have the money, so it's a catch-22. Coda, you were wanting me to talk about the bats. Well, they were the Egyptian fruit bats, and basically I was working at an exotic pet store, and they had them there, and they were kind of grandfathered into keeping them. Right now, you're not really allowed to keep them there. You have to have really special permits in order to do that. They're not allowed as pets. Usually, you have to like rescue them in order to be able to have them, or something like that, or do educational um, work with them. But they're cool. It was like one of those big white closets that you can put in the corner of your room, and it was kind of gutted out with plexiglass in the front, and then the top had screens so that they can hang upside down from it. And they would just come down to the bottom on the floor, like in the morning. They would eat their fruits and stuff that we would put for them. And I was mostly responsible for like cleaning up after them and feeding them. But yeah, I fell in love with them. I thought they were really cool, and I always wanted to own one, but they're protected, so you can't really own them as pets. And I would never want to just have one just because they're cool. I always preach against that. Sup, dog? What's up, dog? She's over it. It's her bedtime. Fennec Tech, our music is on all streaming services. It's on Spotify, it's on iTunes, it's on Pandora, it's on all of that. What is it? Huh? What are you seeing? The kitties? You gonna watch the kitties? I think they're eating your food. I have never heard of the band Hella, if that's what you're asking. What? What's the problem? Why are you huffing and puffing, huh? Takes up the whole bed. Luna, don't mess with Falcor. Come here. I hear her over there, not letting him in the room. Of course I've heard of Rob Zombie. I used to like his music a lot growing up. I just don't really listen to rock anymore. I had some stuff happen to me a few years ago that kind of turned me off to listening to rock anymore, so I still play it, but mostly just listen to electronic music now. Falcor, come here. He doesn't want to come in. He's just staring at me from the door. Oh, wait, here he comes. Come. Come up. He's coming very slowly. Let him up on the bed. Come. He takes a while. I can call him and then like 15 minutes later he'll show up. Sam, no, but I just got out of the shower before I got on the video, so my hair's a mess. So it's gonna hide in a hat. I think I did fall asleep with it on yesterday, though. Falcor, are you coming up here? He's trying to avoid Luna because she's picking on him. I'll grab him. Leave him alone. Always gotta pick on him. That's Falcor. He's a lilac point Siamese. Kim, that's something that I'll have to talk about in another video. but we'll see what happens. I haven't heard of the band ZUP or ZUP or whatever that is. Are you gonna go too? No, don't leave me. Don't leave me. Alright, go. Bye, Felicia. I think he's gonna hang out here now with Luna. Oh yeah, you're asking about Aesthetic Perfection. That's actually a really good band. I like them. Yes, that's a Stitch stuffed animal. It was it was a Stitch stuffed animal. She's been carrying this thing around for years now. If you'll see it in some of the old videos when it was still a little more together, but this is one of the few that she hasn't destroyed fully yet. Sturples, don't do it. Don't get one. Okay, tell me this isn't adorable. Sorry, I didn't mean to wake you. You can go back to sleep. Here, you can have your toy. Luna is 4 years old, for those of you asking. She just turned 4 years old. She wasn't snoring, but she's just breathing heavy. Yeah, Scout's back in his room. He started getting a little stressed out because Luna kept trying to come up near his face. So he started kind of like grumbling at her, and I ended up putting him back in his room, but I have to still go there to go put him to bed. He's still not sleeping. Because usually I have to turn off like his heat lamps and all that. And I just dim them down for him so that he still has a little bit of light and he's not in like a pitch black area at night. So usually I do that like before I go to bed, and that way he can stay out like running around as long as he can before I go to bed. I can try and go get him again. I think he would be alright now that she's sleeping. So hang on a minute. Tony, no, I'm not gonna say anything in Portuguese. I don't know why I've always just felt weird speaking it, but I can write it and speak it and understand it pretty good. Yeah, I saw a couple people in here that were asking me about whether or not they should get a fennec fox, or any kind of fox, or a wolf dog, or any of the pets that I've worked with in the past, but I would say don't do it. It causes a lot of problems. It's caused a lot of problems for me in the past. I love them to death, but it's very difficult because you have to remember, like, if you want to go out of town and travel, you really can't because you have to find the right person to watch them. Like, you can't just leave them with anyone. Luna, I have a very hard time trusting with anyone, but Mel and I, because she's a handful and she knows how to trick people into getting herself into trouble. For example, if she sees a dog coming up while you're walking her, she'll pretend she's sniffing and eating the grass. And if you didn't know any better, you would just let her do it, and then the dog walks by and she'll jump on that dog. So um, there's like little nuances about wolf dogs and foxes that you just have to know about, and you can't really bring them out in public like a lot of people think you can. Especially foxes, you have to have special permits to bring them out in public. You can't just like really bring them out. Even if you have a permit to have one in your home, it's different from bringing it out in public. So there's a lot of things that end up causing problems for people that they don't think about. Also, like vets, finding a vet that will take care of the animal. A lot of times, if they give them the wrong vaccine, it can actually infect them uh, instead of helping get rid of anything or preventing it. So there's a lot of things that you have to know that's more than just what they eat or how they act inside of a house. And yeah, some of them can be super sweet as babies, but then all of a sudden when they become adults, they're extremely aggressive. Like, that was a problem that I had to deal with Spooky is once he started having epilepsy, he got really aggressive and he started attacking any human that would touch him. So even when I had to bathe him, because he would have a seizure and he would go to the bathroom on himself, I would have to bathe him afterwards, and he would end up like trying to bite me the whole time. So that's why you'll see in some of my older videos, there's sometimes where he's wearing a muzzle because I had just given him a bath, and I didn't really have a choice, but it was just one of those things where if you're not ready for something like that, it's unfortunate because then the animal's going to have to go to a new home and that stresses them out even more. So as much as everybody thinks that they're cute, it really is a lot more work than you'll ever think. And it's not until you actually work with them that you get to realize these things. So, see, I worked with them for a few years before I actually brought any home. And I kind of got to know how they are and how they can be a little crazy sometimes. So, I knew what to expect. And a lot of people don't. They just go in getting a baby animal. Baby animals are great. You can have a baby elephant in your house and it'll be cute and run around and play with you and everything. But then what happens, is that animal gets to become an adult, their instincts come in, and then they start doing things that most people don't enjoy in their homes. It's it's not that they're being bad, it's just that they're not doing what you want them to do in your home because it's not what they're supposed to be doing. So that's why I try to give them, the most I can that's kind of replicating what they would have in the wild so that they don't have any kind of those stresses of having some instinct that they need to act out that they can't. Like, for example, with Scout, he gets to, try to get the worms out of the ball or those puzzles that I've been giving him in the past. I've, put worms and beetles inside his sand and had him dig for them. So it's always something that you can do to give them more of their uh, ability to act out their wild instincts. And with foxes, yeah, it's a hit or miss. Like, you'll have some foxes can be really mean when they get older, and they don't want anything to do with humans. And some of them are extremely sweet. So Scout never really was exposed to a lot of different people, and he never really got brought out with me a lot of places, so he's extremely sweet with me, but he doesn't really like strangers much, and he gets extremely stressed out around anybody else except for me. So I can't even really trust anybody to watch him, unless he's just hanging out in his room by himself while I'm gone, because otherwise he gets mad, if anybody comes into his territory, and he'll start screaming at them. With me, he does like these little screams that are more happier screams, like he's calling me over to play with him, like you guys have seen in the videos. But anybody else, he has a problem with. Yeah, Mel can't even get really close to him without him getting stressed out either. It's mostly just me who deals with him. Like, he's cool with coming up to her to like eat from her hand and all that kind of stuff, but if she goes in his room without me, he will have a mental fit. Nobody's ever really been allowed to go near him without him being upset over it. So that's another thing too, is you have to think like, you want to bring one into your house, then you better understand that you're not going to be able to have friends over or family over, unless you either lock them up or put them in an enclosure somewhere where they're not going to be stressed out from all the people that are in the house. So I end up basically, I'm I'm always home alone with him, and I don't let anybody really hang out with me here at the house because I don't trust anybody around him, and he doesn't really like it. So I feel like I should respect their feelings more because they don't really have a choice. Greatest ever. Sorry to break it to you, but that might not happen, and probably not for a while, if anything. Tony's asking what I think about serial killers. I think they're interesting. I mean, you know, like I don't know. I kind of feel weird talking about it because I know it's kind of a touchy subject when you say something like, you can understand why they did it. And then, it's I guess it's not very nice to say that when there's people whose family are hurting because of what they did. But at the same time, some of those people that have done that, they have reasons that can be that you can sympathize with when you kind of hear their story and understand all the things that they've gone through. So it just kind of makes sense to me. And one of the ones that I always thought was interesting was Charles Manson. He's just kind of fascinated me because of the whole schizophrenia thing and how he jumps from character to character while he's talking. It's just always made me laugh. Let me see if I can go grab him again. I don't know if I'm sure he's probably still up. And in the meantime, I'll leave that there, but I'm sure she's going to get up when I get up because she has to follow me around everywhere. You're going to follow me, of course. All right, hang on. We'll put this here and then we'll be right back. Go, come up here and lay down. Lay down. Stay. We're back. Did you guys hear him scream when I came into his room and he was saying hi to me? I didn't know if you guys could hear that or not. It sucks because the chat's always like on a delay, so I end up talking or saying something, and then I gotta wait like 30 seconds for you guys to respond. So I'm sorry if the feed is boring tonight. I know nothing really interesting is going on, but we're just hanging out with Scout and Luna and Falcor on the bed. And I wouldn't ever recommend doing this, by the way, because wolf dogs will eat foxes, but I've been working really hard to get them to be okay around each other, and it's working. And just to prove it, she's right here, just laying down, sleeping. It's funny, I used to have an iguana, a bearded dragon, and a peach throat monitor that lived together, and they all used to sit in a tank together. And then I had, I think I showed pictures of these in one of my videos. There was like two sulcata tortoises, two bearded dragons, and a frill dragon all in the bathtub together. And I've always kind of gotten these animals that aren't supposed to get along together to get along together. It's kind of cool to see them all, around each other when they're not supposed to be. Like normally in the wild they would kill each other, but they're able to hang out around each other because, I always stay calm and I let them know like it's okay. And when Luna gets a little out of hand, I know when it's too much, and I'll go put them back. So I never try to force anything on them or put them in a position where they're going to be stressed out. And eventually they just kind of get used to it. But it's definitely not at the point where I can like put him down and let him run off, because he he moves too much like a squirrel, and that sets off her prey drive. Yeah, and I know there's like a lot of stories of weird animals that have been able to hang out together, but a lot of times I see in homes when people try to do that, they kind of mess up the way they do the introduction, and then it never goes well. And once you mess it up in the beginning, it's very hard to fix in the end. Yeah, if you saw what happened with Luna and the squirrel in the videos, you'll understand. She's she was being taunted by them for a couple years, and then one of them finally came down off the tree and she was able to get it. I woke up in the morning to her walking around with him in her mouth, and I had to trick her into dropping him by throwing a piece of chicken. You can see it in the long version of the video, where I throw a chicken, and then when she grabs it, I grab the squirrel when she drops it. And I still have the squirrel's jaw and head, and basically the teeth were curling up on the inside. And if you don't know about that with squirrels and other rodents, and they basically have to grind down their teeth, because if they don't, it ends up growing too far out and then they can't eat. Well, this one, it was growing on the inside, and that can curl back around and stab them through the mouth into the brain and eventually kill them, or they die from starvation because of pain. So I ended up keeping the skull, and I was going to put it in a resin piece, but I haven't really had a chance to do any of my resin work in a while, so we'll see what happens. And V-Man, you were talking about how your dog caught a bird. I have a bird in Luna's freezer as well from a similar situation where she decided to snatch a bird out of a tree while I was walking her. And we were in the backyard hanging out, and she just kind of grabbed the bird out of the tree. I didn't even know it was in there. She just, and when I pulled it out of her mouth and yelled at her, she dropped it in my hand and it was like peeping, but it only did it a couple times and then it just stopped and there was nothing I could do about it. And what happens is, when they shake, a lot of times they end up breaking the neck or something else inside, and unfortunately that's what happened. Are you good, Scout? I used to be able to fall asleep with him like this, but then in the middle of the night he would just get up on the bed and start pouncing around and biting my toes. I think I put a video up of him jumping up on the bed trying to bite me while I was trying to sleep. But now that he has his own room, that's not a problem anymore. I don't watch anime. Yeah, Kim, you were asking about the red in my tattoos and how I got that to stay in there. Well, basically, um, that ended up having to be done a couple times. So originally what I did was I carved it in with a pin, and I liked the way that it looked, so I went to my artist, and after it healed up I had asked him if he could tattoo it on me. And at the time I had my own pet shop, and I was working, with a lot of water by cleaning all the water bowls all day. So the red definitely came out quick, and it used to look like it was carved in, but now they look more like bleeding lines, like they're all bled into each other. Um, that's because, over time that ends up happening anyway, but he did do it a couple times over it. Well, he did it twice. So that's why it looks so much darker red than it would have normally been. Man, no, I never heard of that channel. Why is it awful? I would say the name, but if it's an awful channel, I'm not gonna say it and promote it. Yeah, those turtles that you're talking about at Petco, those are usually red-eared sliders or yellow belly sliders, and they're great when they're small, they're cute and everything, but They're very messy. They require a lot of cleanup and special filters, unless you're going to do water changes regularly. And they get big, and people don't realize that they eat a lot, which means they poop a lot. So they don't really make the best pets, and they also require special lighting. If you don't have the right lighting, they don't grow properly because they can't process their food or make vitamin D3, so they have to either be in the sun or have that special lighting. And it sucks because a lot of people, when they buy them at a pet store like Petco or Pet Supermarket or something like that, it would be a little ridiculous because they don't explain everything that you would need to get for the turtles to survive properly. So if you're going to get an animal like that, I would always suggest going to like a reptile store or an exotic pet shop, because they're going to give you more information about how to properly care about it than somewhere like Petco. I have a video that I was going to edit outside of Petco, but I didn't want to post it because I didn't really know enough about what was going on. But they had this little van with like 30 cages in it, and there were like all these dogs in it that I think they were doing like an adoption for the day, but the dogs were just screaming in the back of the van, and I was waiting, we were waiting in the parking lot for some reason, so I pulled out my phone and started videotaping it, and how they were just throwing all the cages in the van with the dogs in it, and it made me feel really bad. But I didn't want to be one of those people who like are just posting the video to create drama with Petco. I mean, I know that they were doing the adoptions and that's cool, but I just wasn't really happy about the way that they were treating them. Normally I keep this kind of stuff to myself because I just try to avoid drama with anybody else, but lately I'm just like, screw it. I'm just so sick of seeing all of these bad things happening, so I'm going to be more open and talk about it. April, the answer is nothing. And Jen, the favorite thing about this is this moment right here. It makes it all worth it. Bywiz, if they were telling you that those turtles don't grow, that's because they're not taking care of them properly, because reptiles are going to grow no matter what. Yeah, Kim, I was going to go to school for being an exotic pet vet, but I used to work alongside of a vet tech, and there was one time where we had a Savannah monitor that came in, and his tail had gangrene on it, and there were maggots eating at it, and it was really bad and very sad to see. And he ended up having to cut its tail off at the base, and he couldn't give any medication to the lizard or anything, and it was like very painful to watch him do it. And the lizard was screaming and everything, and I realized then that I don't really have the heart or the emotions to deal with watching animals go through stuff like that. So even though I've helped a lot of animals with rescuing them and feeding them back to health or anything like that, I never really wanted to become a vet because I can't deal with the extremely bad, like horrific accidents with animals. I just can't. It just really bothers me a lot. Minion, Mora, you're asking why his ears are so fluffy? There's actually a couple of reasons. So, the size of the ear helps catch wind in the desert so that it'll help keep them cool when it's too hot out. And all the little hairs in there help them hear even better. So They say that they can hear a bug crawling in the sand up to a mile away. I don't really believe that. I mean, maybe if it was like dead silent in the desert, but they do have really good hearing, so there's no way you're going to really sneak up on one in the wild. Yeah, I could be a vet tech that deals with like just the medicine part or recuperating the animals, but at the end of the day, I prefer this. I have seen Vet Ranch before, but I don't normally like subscribe to their channel, so I haven't seen anything recently. And yeah, Sam, the maggots were a good thing when it comes to gangrene. So we were okay with the maggots being there after the fact. When there was still after they did the amputation, there was still some worms or maggots, and we ended up leaving them on there. And he did heal up properly, and he was healthy, and he ended up growing up and being fine, even though he didn't have a tail. Uh, um, Byways, like there are a lot of things that are going to be changing soon, I'm sure. So maybe I'll look into doing something like that because, like I said, well, I said it in the chat. I don't want to say it in the video. Jen, yes, very, very, very difficult. It's even difficult with you're asking about wolf dogs, and a lot of people don't realize it, but once they become adults, they're extremely difficult to handle, and you can't really go anywhere, or they're like, if you leave them locked up in your house, they're going to destroy your house. If you leave them locked up in a kennel, they're going to poop all over themselves. If you leave them outside, they're going to jump the fence or try to crawl under it. If you bring people over the house, they will jump at their face and try to knock them over and get jealous if you're talking to someone else. So there's like a lot of really normal behaviors for wolf dogs that people just generally can't live with. So if you're living a lifestyle where you stay home all the time, you work from home, you don't really go out a lot, like I guess it makes sense to have one. And, if you're willing to take care of the animal correctly. But at the end of the day, it's just going to make your life a living hell. So as cute as they are, it's a lot of work, and anybody who has one will tell you not to get one for that reason. I would always suggest going to work with them first, and what happens is a lot of people end up falling in love with them after they work with them, and they're willing to deal with all of the stresses and the negativity that you get from a wolf dog. Like, it's great. I love living with Luna. She's amazing, but every time I go out, I have to worry about, you know, uh, whether or not she's going to be upset about me being gone or anything like that. So it makes it a lot more difficult. Um, so I see you were asking there how I went on tour with these guys. So basically, when I go on tour, I have either family or Melissa would take care of them. So that's normally what happens. So in the event that they're not available, I don't know what I'm gonna do. You know, like I would have to like try to figure something out, but I haven't had to deal with that issue yet. But luckily, I have, people that I can trust to watch them no matter where I am. I like Luna was the last time I left for tour, Luna was with Mel, but before that, Luna was young enough to where we could leave her with other people and it was fine. But now that she's older, it's a lot tougher to leave her with someone else because she can't be left alone. And uh, imagine like if I left her with you and you had to go to work, like that would be a disaster in your house. So um, it's very difficult to find somebody who can watch exotic pets when you have to go out of town. You have to find somebody who's worked with them before or understands them or grew up around them. And he's pretty much just content with me. He doesn't really like being around anybody else. If there was even anybody else in this room with me right now, he would be trying to get up and probably run away to go back to his room. He he just grew up around me for the most part and my ex. So now he's not cool with anybody else except for me. I'm pretty sure that even if my ex came in the room, he would probably start screaming at her because he hasn't seen her in years, so he probably doesn't remember her. And I don't do fostering or anything like that because I just don't have the ability and time to take care of other animals. Like every once in a while, you would see one of my videos, like we would rescue a kitten or something like that, but most of them we rehomed, and it wasn't very long. It was like maybe a day or two that we would have them in our house. But now with Luna being older, and with Scout, it's very difficult to try to bring any animals around because Scout will eat anything smaller than him, and Luna will eat anything smaller than her. So it's just not fair to try to bring anyone else around because it'll stress everybody out. But maybe one day I'll get back into that. I've been thinking a lot lately about what I want to do, and um, maybe I'll do something involved with rescuing animals or sanctuaries or something like that. But I don't want to become another one of those people who just open up another sanctuary just to do it, to have a bunch of pets around, and I don't want to be a place like that. So I really just got to think about what I want to do and how I want to go about it. I don't want to be a breeder to sell animals anymore. Um, some people have tried talking me into opening up another pet store, but I don't know if I want to do that either. I'm kind of actually really doing well now with the videos, um, so if I can keep that going, I wouldn't mind just doing that. The one thing I am more interested in doing though is bringing in, like going to places like some zoos or maybe some other places like that and talking to them about the animals on video and posting it for you guys. Like, for example, the Palm Beach Zoo in Florida has a huge amount of fennec foxes, and nobody would ever know because they're not out on display and they're all hidden from the public. So I think there's like a small enclosure where you can see a couple of them, but they have like a way more that are hidden in the back. And I would love to see if they would be okay with doing a video about them, something like that, and kind of try to help people understand why you shouldn't just go out and get one as a pet, which is also a big reason why they have so many, because people will bring them in as pets and then get rid of them because they can't handle them anymore when they realize that it's not like a dog or a cat. So it's just some things I've been thinking about. And I think I'm going to be cutting this stream short in about 5 minutes or so, because it's been about 2 hours that I've been on the stream, and I'm going to go ahead and put him to bed, and maybe I'll try and go to bed myself. Jen, I explained this earlier, but Scout's actually 9 years old. There was like a whole confusion about that that maybe you can watch later or in one of my other videos, but yeah, we thought he was 10 years old, but he's actually 9. I had to go dig up his paperwork to be sure. I can stay for another 10 more minutes if you want. I'm going. You're okay. I'm just moving. I'm just moving. Just trying to get closer, but I can't. Yeah, he's comfy here with me now, but I'm gonna have to take him back to his bedroom so Luna doesn't mess with him if I fall asleep. Otherwise, I would love to have him just stay here with me. But I know that he won't stay here all night. He'll just get up and start being a little punk. He'll probably pee on me. You know, a sign of affection and all that. I should start doing that. I'm just gonna start peeing on chicks. And I'm just gonna say, oh, I'm sorry, it's a sign of affection. Oh, that's not a lizard tattoo if that's what you're seeing. That's a gremlin. Yeah, I won't make him scream. It doesn't matter how much you guys ask. I would never do that to him. He only really screams when he's in his territory, in his room. If I come in there, he does different types of screams depending on what he wants. Like if he's hungry or if he's just saying hi in the morning, there's like a special scream that he does. Then when he's annoyed, there's a different one that's a little more hurtful to your ears. Yeah, you definitely don't want to hear him do his upset scream. His upset scream is so loud that if I'm in his room when he does it, I actually have to step out because it hurts my eardrums. It's a very high-pitched scream, and there's like a certain frequency in there that it actually hurts. Get it? Hurts. Sam, Neo is still doing good. I was just checking on him this morning and he's doing fine. I actually have two more that just turned into the aliens. That's what I call them. So once they hatch out into beetles, I'll show you guys a video of that as well if I can. Um, like I said, I had some stuff going on recently, so I don't know if I'll be able to show that to you guys. Might take me a little while.